All right, it is 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so we're going to get started. Not going to
Yo,
wait
yo, yo.
for the slackers. Megan, Sophia, and Mike, nice to see you here. Hopefully, we can provide some
Text
good
Luke.
information for you today.
Text Luke really quick and then we'll get started.
Yeah, I'll text Luke. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Cool, cool.
So, yeah, I'll text Luke real
We
quick.
got our own team joining on the wrong meeting. So
Yeah.
just give us a minute and then we'll get right into it. But
Well,
awesome. It's good to
Luke's
have
not
you
even
guys.
working today, so I don't know why he's trying to join the meeting. He's like at a family reunion, so I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah. Tell them to stay with the fam.
Yeah. So, but yeah, thanks for joining us. For those that are here, those that will be listening later, Reese and I thought this would be a great idea to do a little bit of a joint webinar today and talk about our leads. Let me share my screen here.
Yeah, I'm glad Justin and I are doing this because I constantly see this problem with people who use AI or do Facebook ads with Justin or Luke or Calvin. And this is really important. Like, I really want you guys to pay attention to what I'm about to say. Every single time I've seen a client use them for leads, they get leads. But then they email Justin and say they're not good leads and they're not getting any appointments. And the issue the missing link is the right strategy when you're calling, texting, and training to role play or whatever, make those phone calls. Justin and I have listened to like 3 or 4 phone calls recently that we've gotten to practice a lead and the team dropped the ball. So Justin's going to talk a lot about like what, AI can do for you in getting those leads. And I'm going to come in at the end and talk about what your team needs to do in order to convert those. Because I just hate seeing us get all these leads for people and then they think it's not working when really they're missing the second piece. So anyways, Justin, you're welcome to take it away, but there's 2 components today.
No, that's
Getting the
awesome. Yeah, you're
leads and
you're
then
covering
training.
exactly what I was going to talk about. Basically, how this all started.
Yeah, go for it.
Simply because we listened to bad phone calls for
Yeah.
people that were ready to schedule appointments. And that's not to say that the team always drops the ball. Marketing can drop the ball, training can drop the ball, but that's just kind of how we prompted it. So yeah. So what we're going to kind of cover, Reese touched on a little bit. I'm going to start with the basics for people that don't know. So basic strategies for lead acquisition and maybe a self checklist for yourself to see what you're doing at your practice in acquiring your leads, where clinics are falling short that we're seeing, which we've already kind of touched on, how an automation system like integrates into that, and especially with AI, and we'll show that and how the reporting is associated with it and systems and all that stuff we continue to talk about. And then again, the human flaw in what we see in lead conversion and wasted dollars. So as you know, you've probably heard it a lot. You're in the hearing community. You know that there's a lot of opportunity for helping people. Millions and millions of Americans, millions of Canadians either have some sort of degree of hearing loss, or they have some level of tinnitus, tinnitus. They're falling short somewhere, and it's affecting their day-to-day life. You guys all know that. That's why you're in the field to help others. But we all know that we're falling short, and it's an ever-changing game. I've been in the audiology world for 10 years as a board certified hearing instrument specialist, and then now on the marketing side. Not super long, but I've seen it transition, right? And we're gonna talk into a little bit about how the consumers are just getting smarter and smarter and more educated before starting treatment. So proven strategies that we found at Audiology Intelligence for us with our clients, because we do digital ads for people that don't know that across several platforms, which I'll show you in a moment. We do websites and SEO. We're working really hard on that. Calvin's on this call. He's always working on SEO and always working on websites. It's not like we're building a website and doing SEO for you and sitting back and hanging out till we talk to you next month. It's literally all day, every day. And then content marketing, what we're using, social media ads, Facebook, Instagram, etc. There's all these different ways that we are trying to get people to find you and to come and see you. So one like good question to ask, or like self-reflection for everybody that listens to this webinar, is like, has your Google listings been updated in the last 6 months? meaning have you got into your back end of your Google, made sure that the profile had a green circle at full strength. You've got updated posts on there. You've got updated hours on there. You've got you've replied to your question, like consumer questions on there. There's other things on there to help with the Google listing. And some of you may be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Green circle, you're crazy. Like, I don't know what that is. Some people might say, well, yeah, my website provider does that for me. My question would be is like, are you sure they're doing that? Are they reporting that back to you? And that's just a really simple thing for capturing leads that are low hanging fruit, that are searching hearing aids in my area, hearing doctor, audiologist, right? So that's just like something to take home. Well, one question of several that we'll ask to kind of take home with you today. But if you do not know the answer to that question, I would strongly suggest looking into that. I want to show you a few of the ads that we do have. We are doing ads in Google and Facebook if you've worked with us currently or worked with us before. We've also dived into TikTok ads, which are at a lower cost per lead, probably around $10 to $15 a lead on TikTok. I don't know who in here uses TikTok, but I do know that the demographic of people that use TikTok is much higher than you would think in your head. You might think it's something like 20s, teenagers, 30-year-olds. I have relatives that are in their 60s that are using TikTok. I think my
And
mom is
there's
on
people who are
TikTok.
younger that know people with hearing loss and tinnitus, and they use TikTok, right? So like as a 24-year-old, I might get on TikTok, know my dad has a hearing loss, see this ad about tinnitus, hearing loss, whatever, and then go talk to my dad about, hey, look, these people know how to help you. So, I mean, anyways, cheaper, but also really cool because you will get people when typically we say, hey, it doesn't work. Social media doesn't work for old people. That's not true anymore.
Yeah, for sure. And then if you know what this little symbol here, this is Reddit, and that's more of like a younger person's game as well. And we are running ads on Reddit. We haven't been doing it for a long time, but we have been doing it recently, and we have found success running ads on Reddit. And we're always trying to expand like where we're running ads and what's going to work. There's nothing that's out of the question as well. So again, where are we falling short? And it really starts at lack of systems. This could be a system with your marketing team. This could be a system with your audio automation system. This could be a lack of systems internally, like internal processes with your team from the top down. What we found a lot too recently, it's been kind of crazy too, because we do talk a lot of clinics about digital ads. Some work with us, some that don't, some come over from previous providers. Like they don't know like what, not necessarily what they're spending, but they're not getting reported back on like, okay, here's the names of the leads. Here's how much you spent on this particular ad. This is how much you're making on this ad. Like they're not getting any reporting at all. And that's like mind-boggling to me, where you're going to pay somebody to do ads for you and they don't tell you what's going on. It's
And now
insane.
you don't know if it's working or not. So you're just dumping money, maybe potentially,
Yeah, it's
or you don't know
insane.
how much money you're making.
Yeah, exactly. So, but again, it's kind of here on the slide, right? Inconsistent follow-up, that's automation. I'll show you in a second. Lack of patient education causing hesitation or mistrust, especially on the phone, which Reese is going to touch on just a little bit. And then this audit data, this is actually like an audiology study. Well, I guess it should be said odd IT data is where it came from, but it shows that practices with no follow-up system, basically an automation system, essentially convert 10 to 15% of the leads that they get, that compared to 30 to 40% to those with a structured process. So that is some study that they did, and I'm not surprised.
So at least according to that study, basically, as soon as you like when you implement automation, you double the conversion. It's
Essentially,
basically what
yeah.
that's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and yep. So I did mention like reporting back on ads. And so I did want to show you a little bit of what Audiology Intelligence does on this. If you go across here, across the arrows, if you do ads through us, we do provide an ad source, the number of ad leads that you get, ad cost per lead, and then the revenue is something that your team helps us put into here. And then we can see our cost of the ad and the ad spend, and then it gives us an ROI. on the right-hand side. And we even break it down further on a different page here where we will list all of the people that come in from the ad, and then you can put in like the revenue for them, and then you can see it right there. Like this is how many people were converted from these ads. It's a pretty amazing thing. So this is a few months old, but this is from a modern hearing clinic in Ohio, and they had an amazing month in January. And these are just from Google call ads or leads, or from like their SEO that I mentioned before, just their Google listing for incoming calls. And I think anybody, as you can see here, they generated, approximately $50,000-$60,000 in January. And I know they didn't spend that much. So
Yeah. And
crazy.
I'm getting ahead of myself because I know it's Justin's turn right now. But one thing I know about working with Modern for the past 3 years pretty consistently, whether it's with me or some other trainer, is they have a very solid phones team that calls these people. And so maybe you're already getting the ads, but you don't have the phones, or maybe you have neither, and you need to start doing ads in order to then have people to call. But the reason why they're so successful is not just because Justin's amazing. Yes, he's great. I love AI. That's why we're doing this webinar. It's the fact that their phones team know what they're doing when it comes to these leads.
Yeah. And that one more thing about this reporting, if you're doing ads with somebody else or on your own or however you're tracking it, like this is updated in real time. So if I had an actual sheet of this and I could show you, like we could go to a landing page, type in our name, and then on the sheet it would pop up our name, what we've opted in for within like 2 minutes. Like it's updated in real time, so you can always stay on top of it. Um, Now on to like the automation and the tracking purposes of this. So Audiology Intelligence, we use a system called Treatment Flow AI. Um, and I would say the most valuable part of it really beyond like the pre-education for the patients once they're scheduled, or all of those, I would say generic automations like quarterly reminders, warranty reminders, annual reminders, like all that boring stuff. Like the real value comes in with how our call center system works. And so we have a few columns here. We have a new leads column, a call 1, call 2, call 3. It goes all the way to call 6. And you can add people to long-term nurture, an appointment booked, or even delete them if like they don't want to talk to you again. And I was doing some training with this last week with a phones team for a newer client. And I put their quote here. It was one of their phones teams, so I didn't get the exact name. But she said, we worked with a lot of CRMs and businesses, and this is by far the best system we've seen. And she did say it was amazing. That is an exact quote. And I was super excited to hear that because we've been doing some sort of call center in our evolution through Keep and Fix Your Funnel, even this. And we've worked with many clinics, but that particular phones team, they are like a call center team. And so they see like a lot of different businesses and a lot of different CRMs. And they said it's the best one they've ever seen.
Yeah,
So
I'd
take that
agree.
for what it's
Yeah,
worth. Like that was like the highest compliment I've ever got working in marketing the last 5 years.
yeah, yeah. No, it's a great system.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, let's talk a little bit about why it's necessary to have an automation system. One, we've kind of showed you when you get a lead, you know what the lead is. And actually, if I take a step back, sorry, like if I get a new lead, right? And I guess Reese is going to touch on it, but like they're going to come into this new leads column within minutes, and they need to be called within minutes
Yeah,
for highest conversion, right? So um, that's just like an important thing. And you can get some sort of action with that through an email notification, but what happens after the email? Nothing, right? So that's why you need to have some sort of automation system to confirm with the person, to deliver the content if they've requested a book or an education piece. Like these aren't like things that are optional in 2025. Like if you want to really be successful and convert on your digital leads, they are not optional. Like you have to do them. Um, and then again, just some questions like if you're not using as a system, does your team know about the lead? How do they get it? I kind of touched on that. And then are they organized with their follow-up system? If they don't have an automation system, they'll like give them baby steps along the way. So yeah, if you answered no to any of these questions on the screen, then you probably should again do some self-reflection or self-evaluation of your system to see how you can make it better internally or externally through using services. One thing, if you've been seeing any of my emails or text messages recently, is I've been talking a lot about AI and how AI works 160 hours a week. So your staff are amazing, your team's great, but they are humans, right? They the most they're probably going to work is around 40 hours a week. They might work a little bit more, they might work a little bit less. That means approximately 3/4 of the week is not being worked at your clinic. So there are people in the world that they do a lot of the things, early in the morning, and they might get on a website, they might opt into an ad early, they might call a phone number early before your staff is ready to work. If you're closed on Fridays or close early on Fridays, something like that. Like if someone goes to your website or goes to your ad on a Friday and you're not working or your team's out, like they're not going to get called till Monday. Well, between Friday and Monday, that's a long time. I could go to
Yeah.
another hearing clinic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so there's basically the AI can fill in, and we've seen that firsthand in 2025 with the systems that we've been using through a website chatbot, our AI texting, who people have like let it go full bore and let the AI take over and just not worry about it.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. I haven't been around for forever, but I was around when Blockbuster was around. And what's interesting about Blockbuster is they went out of business because they couldn't adapt with the changing times of streaming and doing things online. And if they had seen into the future, they would have hopped on with that and they'd probably still be around or might have even beat Netflix out because they would have been first to do it. And that's how I feel about AI to some degree, as much as it might be scary about world takeover. What makes it rewarding, at least for now, is Jared just told me the other week his AI chat system booked an appointment and charged $230, 20 or 29, whatever it is, $230. Okay, maybe you're going to talk about that. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
I'll let you
you're
take it
good.
away, but like this is AI is making us money. So again, changing with the tides, instead of being a Blockbuster or Netflix, this is definitely the future of booking appointments and actually making money for sure.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I wanted to actually show you screenshots of this actually happening. So to kind of follow it, it's not actually in order on the screen, but it kind of encompasses everything we're talking about. So on the bottom right-hand corner, somebody like got on either the website or through an ad and booked an appointment. Well, hold on, actually, let me take a step back. It actually is in order. Hold on. On the right-hand side, it just says congratulations on taking the next steps. So over here on the right-hand side, somebody scheduled or requested an appointment.
Yeah.
So this is an
Saw an
automated
ad,
message.
whatever. Yep.
Yeah, this is an automated message that automatically goes out. The person replied, thank you for your reply. Here's my concerns. And then the AI, which is indicated, you can't really see it. It's pretty small, but it's two little stars. The AI said, hey, no problem. And said, how can I help you with your tinnitus, essentially? And then again, she's already requested something. So now she's actually asking for an appointment time. And then it says, great, here are some available slots. It sent the appointment times over for that person to book. And then right here on the right hand side, here's like an email that's been received for that same appointment over here that I've grabbed and has booked the appointment. And then in the past, and it kind of depends, but you can see all these 232s marked up. This is what Reese was talking about. So these are people that have talked to the robot through either the website or AI chat and have been given a link to pay and paid $232 just to get an appointment.
Yeah. And so the just future pace, because I know we have a lot of clients. If you're new here, this may not make a lot of sense to you, but the future of Jared's clinics, I believe, from what I'm seeing, is we will charge 232 just to be seen because they're already used to paying 232. They'll start their first month of treatment and now they're on a treatment plan. And so again, we're just changing and moving towards this. We've always not charged for appointments, and now we're going to start charging because it'll be that much easier. And it might take some time, but that's why you see this happening. And how amazing is that, that we pretty much have a treatment start from AI right off the bat? Because now they start their first month of treatment and continue on a monthly membership program or whatever. So
Yeah,
it's just I was scared of AI, and now I'm like, I might as well use it right now because I get appointments for free, basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Um, so that pretty much actually takes me to you, Reese. It's kind of
Okay.
like
Jump.
that's kind of like the progression. I know that some of it was like really simplistic stuff, right? But there's a lot of opportunity. I think I actually skipped over one of my slides actually that kind of highlighted on the amount of opportunities in your database, right? So sorry, Reese, just
Yeah,
real
you're
quick, like
no
if
worries.
you think of your database and you have 100 tested, not treated, undertreated, and lead names, just 100, which is not many. That's $800,000 of potential revenue, right? Most likely you're going to have around 1,000 to 10,000. You know, that's going to be 8 million, 80 million. And that's kind of like part of why I went over all of these things to show how, you know, like we have these new leads, there's plenty of opportunity, but you can convert using these systems from the people you already have names from, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the AI jumps in and the call lists and things like that. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, cool. Let's talk about converting leads because if you were here right at the beginning, the big thing I said is it's a huge heartache for me that Justin, can you see this, Justin?
Let me stop my sharing here. There you go.
All right, can you guys see this? Ross, thumbs up. Cool, awesome. It's a huge heartache when I hear how hard Justin, Calvin, Luke are working. They get a bunch of leads. We get an email from someone that's saying, "Hey, we're not making any money. Now we're burning the money." And I empathize with that too, but the big problem I'm seeing is not that Justin, Calvin, and Luke aren't trying to innovate and make your SEO better and your ads better. It's the fact that your team doesn't know how to handle this. If you're a typical audiology owner, from what I've at least I've seen, you're not used to these online ads that much. And so when you implement something new like this and you say, "Hey team, call these patients," there's so many break places where it breaks down. Justin talks about, does your team get notified? Can they identify the lead? Can they find the phone number? And so it's important that your phone's team or whoever's making these calls is trained to handle this. And so I didn't notice Ross here at first, but when we talk about modern, Ross is a big part of why they had that such great couple months or month at least that Justin showed with the ads was because the phones team knew how to handle them. And Ross is one of the best phones people I've seen. He comes from a sales background, but he's also done a ton of training in order to adapt to audiology. So what I want to do today is talk about some things that your team needs to start training on and how to handle these leads and also some future things to start planning for and doing if you're going to do this. Because if you're not doing ads today, you could start role playing today to be prepared for when you email Justin and say, "Hey, I'm ready to do something with AI." So, all right, cool. These are some must-dos. Here, I'm going to reshare my screen one more time. So, these are some must-dos when it comes to handling leads. I know there's a billion different leads out there. I'm going to focus on two most common ones today that we make the most money from. But converting online leads, we have to have a couple must-dos, and Justin talked about one of these, is you have to call a lead within 5 minutes. And so this is the value of having something like AI for the weekends or the evenings, or what I did when I was in the practice is Jared paid me a commission to handle these appointments. And so if I book something out of hours, I made some money. And so if you have team members that want raises, want more money, that might be something you can set up is having them be able to chase down leads out of hours. So obviously, maybe some of you aren't able to call these leads within 5 minutes, but this is the start of converting and making thousands and thousands of dollars with leads online. Because if you don't get to them for hours or even days or weeks, they are not going to answer your phone call, or if they do, they're going to have forgotten about the request or whatever it is. We also send pre-call text that can be automated. You can also do it yourself if you want to be more personalized or whatever. But you send a pre-call text to these leads. You saw that with the AI example that booked the appointment itself is they get this text of "thank you so much," so this patient feels like you're trying to help them, you're interacting, you're moving them towards treatment. You have to role play these phone calls. You got to record phone calls so then we can reevaluate and train your team on the things they're messing up. And then that's how you make tons of money and get an ROI on leads. And so I want to go over two appointments today because I know we have some phones people. Some of you guys are owners, but this is what I would train your team on or you need to train your team on. These are a couple different like leads that we get that our phones team has to call and have this conversation with them. So I want to go over those at a high level first. So tinnitus appointment request leads. If you're not doing tinnitus appointment or tinnitus treatment today, that's fine. It's definitely something to start considering because I think this is one of the highest ROI leads I see Justin do for people. I think you guys know most people believe there's nothing that can be done for tinnitus. So because we're advertising we can help for tinnitus, we get tons and tons of requests through that. And so this is an example of what a phone call would look like. I would be calling this patient. So think about this. I got the lead. Sarah Draper, me, whoever got the lead. Within 5 minutes, I'm picking up the phone to call this patient, and they got this pre-call text. So now this patient recognizes your number, and they're more likely to answer, and they're expecting the call. And so this is an example of scripting that you would need to train your team on or train on yourself. Engaging with the patient. Hey, is this the patient, Mr. Jones? This is just Reese with Hearing and Brain Centers of America. This is a scripting I've always really liked for outbound phone calls, even with leads, is the provider, Dr. Burrows here, asked me to give you a call because he saw that you requested an appointment or tinnitus appointment. Is now a good time? I like blaming the provider because let's be honest, Ross, patients respect the providers more than us sometimes. Not always. Our patients love
Mo
us,
yeah,
most
for
of the
sure.
time. Yeah. So I like in blaming the provider for the call opposed to just being a stranger because that patient's going to be like the doctor asked you to call. So they're more engaged now. Ask if it's a good time. Ask them about what's going on. Pain funnel. If you're not familiar with the pain funnel, we have to hop on a call and talk about that because that is essential for our phone call process. We talk about cost on the phone of treatment and then we book the appointment. Maybe your practice is slightly different where you don't talk about cost or you avoid it, or you book the appointment, then talk about cost. That's fine. I can train your team on that regardless. I work with a lot of different clients. So if you say, hey, I don't want to talk about cost, that's fine. I just need them to book the appointment. That's cool. This is just our process for these leads. So again, if your team has never made these phone calls, they need to train on it, or you need to train them on it, or they have to get this scripting or whatnot. Now, this is tinnitus. Another common one that leads to a ton of appointments and treatments really is book requests. So if you've written your own book, you should absolutely be doing this. We've been doing this for probably 7, 8 years, Justin, where we've been advertising, get this free book on hearing loss and dementia and tinnitus. You guys are familiar with Preventing Decline, hopefully. If not, reach out to me. I can get you a copy of Preventing Decline. If you have your own book and you do some sort of Facebook ad or online ad for the book request, you are going to get tons and tons of people to call. And so the way this works is we get the request and we call this patient to book an appointment, or if they say they want to read the book first, then we schedule a follow-up call to then talk to them to book the appointment. Because these patients aren't ready to request an appointment, but they're ready to request information. So if I can get their information and then reach out to them and answer their questions or build a relationship, that'll lead to an appointment versus just doing requesting appointment ads, if that makes sense. So book request leads, it'll be stuff like, hey, read our new book about hearing loss, dementia, those type of things. You can work with Justin, Calvin, and Luke on that. But here's an example of that phone call. I'm calling a patient who just requested a book, right? They'd be mailed it or emailed it, whatever way you set it up. You can introduce yourself. This is Reese with Hearing and Brain Centers of America. The provider, Dr. Burrows, again, asked me to give you a call because he saw you requested our book, Preventing Decline is now a good time. And then this is the good way to get your foot further in the door is confirming the address. So I've always liked this when I've called requesting books is I wanted to confirm your address so we send the book to the right place. Is your address, insert address provided? And now my foot's in the door. They trust me a little bit. And then getting into their symptoms, the pain funnel, the cost of booking appointment. So similar strategy there to tinnitus. We just lead with the book. And a lot of these patients may not be ready to book today, but now they have a relationship with your phones person. So when you call them in a week, 2 weeks after they read the book, then they're more ready for an appointment. So it's something I've been very, I've done plenty of these calls. Our team has done plenty of these calls. It's just one other lead out there that you could start doing with Justin. I got two more things I want to cover, and then we got something special for you guys today is a good voicemail. So Ross, this is for you or anyone here who would be leaving voicemails. This voicemail, wait, actually, let me go back. It's really important we understand the purpose of voicemail before I move on. I can't stress this enough. The purpose of the voicemail is not to give information, in my opinion. When you give too much information, people feel like they have everything they need and they don't call you back. The purpose of a voicemail is to get a call back. And so this voicemail will absolutely get you callbacks. Every time I have a team start doing this, they get way more callbacks. Now, there is some potential issues or a caveat we have to talk about, but I promise you this voicemail will get your patients calling you back, whether it's a new lead or it's a current patient. So I have a couple examples based off the different leads. But again, I'm blaming the doctor. Hey, Mr. Let's say this was that tinnitus appointment request. Hey, Mr. Jones, this is Reese with Hearing and Brain Services America. The provider here, Dr. Burrows, asked me to call you because he saw you request an appointment. Call me back when you can. So again, I'm blaming the provider, but this is like almost the best voicemail. I added a little extra piece that normally I wouldn't say. Normally what I say when I leave a voicemail is the provider here, Dr. Burrows, asked me to call you because he saw something in your chart. Give me a call back when you can. Now, I know a lot of you might be thinking, well, this is a new patient. Why would we say that? Well, to me, I now have a chart of the patient because I have the information. They are now a potential patient of ours. And so I saw something in their chart that was request an appointment. If you're not comfortable with that or you think that's dishonest, we can agree to disagree. I would use this voicemail. But if you want the best voicemail of all time, you say, Dr. Burrows asked me to give you a call because he saw something in your chart. Call me back when you can. That'll get way more phone calls. If you want to just do that with current patients, that might be better. It's up to you because you have a relationship with them, but you say the provider saw something in their chart, that's why you're calling. So again, this is a voicemail, you'll get way more callbacks. Here's an example for like if it was the book request. With this one, I bring up confirming address, right? So let's say I get a voicemail from the lead. Hey, this is Reese with Hearing and Brain Services America. The provider here, Dr. Burrows, asked me to give you a call because he saw you requested our book Preventing Decline. I need to confirm your address so we send it to the right place. Call me back when you can. So that'll also get you a lot of callbacks because they realize they have to confirm the address and then, in order to get their book. So I've been talking a lot about training for a minute. Anyone have any type of questions? You're welcome to chat in, unmute yourself. Any what ifs before I move on? This is just some key things to start working on if you're doing ads or if you're going to start doing ads. So anything from me before I move on?
Yeah, just agreeing with you completely, Reese, that there should be very little information on the voicemail, just enough
Yeah.
to get them hooked and want to see what's going on or something they need to confirm.
Yeah, exactly. I will say if you say the provider saw something in your chart, give me a call back when you can. Patients will call you back. They'll just be a little concerned and a little kind of like frazzled. And so you just have to find a good way to calm them down. What I've said is I'll say, oh, I didn't mean to scare you. That wasn't my intention. We try and limit personal patient information on voicemails due to HIPAA compliance. So I think that's a very valid excuse is like, I didn't want to share all the personal information, your health history, whatever in a voicemail. So that has calmed down patients if they do call you back and say, oh, you freaked me out. I have heard one phone call where a patient called and said, oh, I thought this was my primary care. I thought I had cancer. Comes with the game, right? That patient was pretty upset. It is what it is. And my intention wasn't to scare them. My intention was to get them to call back because they requested something. So that's really important. We got one other thing I want to share. Okay. Feel free to chime in if you have other questions or whatnot. So I wanted to talk about one common objection that's bound to come up, and this might be the only thing you get away from today, and I think it's well worth your time. This is the most common objection I see with these type of phone calls. So let me share my screen. I think Ross might agree, correct me if there's something that's a little bit more common, but I think this is probably the most common objection I've seen from these calls, and that is I don't remember doing that. So it's safe to say that's the most common like issue on these phone calls. So
Very common.
very common, right? So please stay tuned in for this because I'm almost done. We're wrapping up. This might be the only thing you get out of today is this is prevented one by calling them sooner or under 5 minutes. So if you call them within 5 minutes, you're more likely to avoid this. Now, that being said, some of you aren't able to do that. It's not going to happen every time. And two, there's a potential issue that happened with this lead that we can't, it's not Justin's fault. It's not your fault. The issue is that their wife or loved one put in their information for them. That actually happens sometimes. So it's like if I have a wife, she has tinnitus, I see this ad because I'm scrolling on Facebook, I put in her information because she's the one that has tinnitus, not me. And so sometimes, to be honest, patients didn't request the information. It was their loved one, but they don't know that their loved one did that. It happens sometimes. And so we're going to use that excuse with this objection just in case it comes up. And again, if you call them within under 5 minutes, you're less likely to have this happen, as well as the AI text or the automated text that'll help prevent this too. So work with Justin on that. But this is what I've said when I get this objection. It seems to work pretty well. Is I've done an intro. I said, Dr. Burrows saw that you requested an appointment for tinnitus. And then they say, I don't remember doing that. I'm going to say something like that's not a problem. It looks like you or possibly a loved one submitted this request. Do you know who might have done this? Question mark, right? They're probably going to say no. I don't know who would have done this. I didn't do it. Or maybe my wife did it. I'm not sure. And then I'm just going to ask we call it like a reverse question. And I want to make sure this is super clear for you guys is no worries. So do you not have tinnitus then? Keyword not. Or do you not have hearing loss symptoms then? Because the interesting thing about human psychology is when you tell them something inaccurate, they love to correct you. So if I say, no worries, do you not have tinnitus then? A patient is very likely to say, oh, well, yeah, I've had tinnitus for a couple of years now, and then I'm going to run with that on the phone call. So this is very particular. You have to train on this. Or if it's a hearing loss appointment, right? Same thing. So if again, if they say don't remember doing it, that's not a problem. It looks like possibly you or a loved one did this. Do you know who might have done this? Nope. No worries. So do you not have insert symptom then based off of the ad? So it might be cognitive decline, it might be tinnitus, whatever the ad is. And you're very likely that a patient will be like, oh, well, yeah, I've had it for a while. Okay, tell me more about that. So I can train your team on this. You can train your team on this. Ross can role play this himself. I don't know if you have a better strategy for this objection, but this is the one I've liked to use when they say they don't remember.
The one I've kind of gone with because I do, Greece, I do a lot of assumptive stuff still, but
Sure. Yeah, that's a
I,
good one.
I would say, oh, I run into this fairly commonly, just confirming, a lot of times, these things affect family members. Can you think of a family member that may have been, having a concern? And then
Same
sometimes
thing
they'll
on
just
yeah.
volunteer, oh, yeah, that probably was my wife. And now
That's
we're confirming there's a little bit of a problem.
yeah, and then you run into, well, what's the wife saying or et cetera, right? So I love that. You're basically doing what I'm saying is blaming the loved one.
Yeah,
And
with my little Ross spin as always, Reese.
yeah, I know. Ross can spin it. He's good at his job. So all right. So you ready, Justin?
I'm ready.
So
Yeah. Yep.
cool. So because of today, there's two parts to this. If you're already doing leads and not doing training, you need training. If you're not doing leads or some sort of automation, you need training. So we have a special offer today if you guys want some help in implementing leads or need help with the training part of it or haven't done leads yet. I'm going to start, Justin, is this is a training program Aud Experts just came up with. It's month to month. It's basically a call every week with your team, just as long as you do the program. So meaning 1,200 a month, and if I can help you start one more treatment, that's basically an 8-to-1, 6-to-1 ROI, just one treatment. And you can cancel anytime. And so we'll just have weekly calls. You'll also get to attend all my virtual events for free. I charge for those, and then we'll track data together with you and your team member, whatever it is. And then again, cancel anytime. This is $1,200 a month. I can only do this with a couple clients. I'm doing it with 4 or 5 right now. But I'm going to do your first month of training free. I'm not going to charge you a dime for the first month when you sign up with something at AI. So Justin's going to talk about this a little bit. But you'll get free training for a month if you start leads, social media, whatever Justin talks about, doesn't matter. I'll do a free month of training and then we'll start month to month because I want you to be able to start making money and getting ROI as soon as you can because it only gets better the longer you do it. Jared's been doing this stuff for 8 years and it's pretty successful. You may have never done stuff like this. And so I just want to make sure your team knows what to do so they can make money. And then we'll continue training, whether that might mean the providers need help with tinnitus appointments. We can train on a billion different things. So when you sign up or do something with Justin, I'll start a month of training with you guys, and then we'll start the month-to-month process until you're absolutely done. with training. So we'll just communicate that way. But Justin, go ahead. I know you had some things you want
Awesome.
to talk about.
Yeah, I'll share my screen too. Hopefully it pops up here. But yeah, I've got his offer on mine. So yeah, we do want to combine offers. What we're doing for this as well, in addition to Reese's offer, is $1,500 credit toward signing up for a new audiology intelligence service. So if you're using some of our services and you're thinking about doing the others, you can use it toward that. Or if you're not a member with us at all, or a base member, any of our services, digital ads, social media, automation, website, you can use that $1,500 credit towards those services. And that could last, 1 to 3 months, depending on where you're at. And then again, with that, then comes in Reese's offer where you're getting that phones training for 1 month for free, the first month for free. I do have like a word on here, an opt-in word. My brain isn't working very well on this, but if you type winning to this phone number right here on the screen, you will go through a little automation system and it'll ask you some questions and give you an opportunity to get you scheduled on my calendar. And we'll talk about what services we can add for you. And we'll get you going. Yeah, it'll be amazing. But yeah, this is only offered for the next 8 days. So this promo ends August 6th, 2025, which is next Wednesday, next week. But yeah, take that number down, type winning, press send. And if you're interested in adding any of our services and getting that training with Reese, it's really like, it's almost like a no-brainer, right? Like appointments cost money just to even get, let alone the treatment starts. And I can guarantee you're going to get more appointments just by signing up with us for one service, and especially Reese's training. Like,
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
one more phone call, like you got to be kidding me. Like you're going to convert more than one phone call in a month from doing that training.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say is maybe some of you guys are doing all the services and you just need training. Just shoot me an email, reese@outexperts.com or whatever. We can talk about it. Maybe you don't need a month-to-month thing. You need me to come visit you. It doesn't matter. I'm here to train your team. So yeah, 435-236-2243. Text winning. If you're not watching this live, but you're watching the recording, you can do this as well. So
Yep.
claim your offer today and let me know if you guys need anything.
For those of you that don't actually use Reese's services that often, I will tell you that we do use Reese's services a lot here at Modern. I've even got his book behind me.
Oh, wow. Look at me too. Cool. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Your providers are crushing it too. So if you don't need phones training, I can do provider training, but appreciate the testimonial, Ross. All right. Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
thanks
for
everybody.
being here.
Appreciate your time. Talk to you
We'll talk
soon.
to you soon.
Have a good day.
Cheers.
Bye.